What dare might I ask that you want to do to this thing?
The 2023 International can carry tons of weight. Man, I love brand new trucks. But we don't have a lift that's big enough.
It's like a pallet jack on steroids, but you've got forks that lift up 18,000 pounds.
Let's do it right here. We're gonna make this one just over the top. Build the running boards on it. We gotta stretch the front bumper. Getting rid of all the chrome.
Looks good.
To make everything just tie in together, look slick.
Make this way lower.
Ooh, you're gonna get such a great load angle for those low-profile cars.
Man, it just makes sense, right?
That's looking good, man. Yeah.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
What's up, Ryan?
What's happening, Bill? How you doing today?
And I'm doing all right. How you
Doing
doing,
all right?
man? Dang, you got a lot of trucks here.
Got a few. Got a few.
Good thing, since you sold mine. Ryan's an old friend from the north side of Houston. Him and his family sell wreckers and towing equipment. The last wrecker I got from Ryan was a 2022 International. We made it look good. You know, it was different from every other one on the road.
It kind of became a legend. You know, everybody kind of knew about it in the scene.
Ryan took it to a tow show. He said, hey, man, I got your truck sold, so I pretty much didn't have a choice.
There was a guy out of Louisiana that offered us some money that we really couldn't refuse. So I called Bill up, and he said, go ahead and pull the trigger and sell it.
Hey, man, the time's right, time's right.
With everything you do to these things, you make my job easy selling the truck.
You know, I liked it, but I just want that extra room and a black one. You got me hooked up, right?
Got it
It's
here.
in.
It's here. I'll go grab it and pull it up for you real quick.
Appreciate it. Seeing that truck come at me, I'm glad the old one's gone. I've been missing my black truck. You know, the 4 doors, exactly what I wanted. This is what I've been waiting on. That's a good-looking truck, man. The 2023 International MV607 can carry tons of weight, meaning we can almost tow anything we want.
So you got the new body style International, crew cab, of course. It's got 9,000-pound front axle, 17,000-pound rear axle, Cummins motor, Allison transmission, air ride, sun visor. It's about got all the bells and whistles we can get on it.
Yeah, man.
So what dare might I ask that you want to do to this thing?
I got some ideas on some things. You already know we have to cover up the tanks, build the running boards on it. I got to stretch the front bumper, get rid of all the chrome. I mean, that's a given. But I think one of the coolest things we could possibly do to this is make it lower. Have the lowest rollback around.
That would be cool.
If I'm gonna do that, now's the time to do it. I need to take it as is before you put the bed and everything on it. Everything's easily accessible. Now's a great time to take it, do what I need to do, and I'll bring it back to you. It just makes more sense than working under it.
Yeah. Hey, you got a wide open canvas the way it is now.
Might as well bag the front, too.
Ooh.
Well, you know, we've done a bunch of medium duties before with the air suspension, but never a rollback.
If you lower the rear end and raise the front, you're going to get such a great load angle for those low-profile cars.
Man, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Let's go check out the front and make sure there's no surprises.
So on the rear suspension, that's typical. But for anybody to do anything on the front of the truck,
Man, I love brand new trucks.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it ever because it's all leaf springs. That's going to be a tough challenge.
The way to do this is just get rid of the lower spring. It's got 2 springs, just get rid of the lower and de-arch the main spring and compensate with the big airbag. So you'll have that ride quality, that adjustability, and have that low stance too.
You know, that sounds super cool. I've built mini trucks. My father's built mini trucks. We've never seen anything like that. And I'm nervous for you, buddy.
That's the projects I like doing, getting that, you know, once you're done, people are gonna like, how?
Somebody can do it, you can.
They can be sad at the tow show when they see this one. Having a wrecker around the shop is instrumental day to day. It's just a must. There's many, many things to pick up, drop off, and you know, I never knew that I needed a wrecker so much until not having one. If you've been paying attention, you've probably been noticing our builds have been getting bigger and bigger and heavier. That's a job for the latest and greatest. Super heavy truck. The bed is going to be a 16,000-pound bed, so it'll handle whatever we want to put on the back. No restrictions, no limitations. Don't get me wrong, the last wrecker, I loved it. It served its purpose well. It represented the company well. It was just time to move on and upgrade. The 2023 International is the biggest record we ever had. To do the suspension I got to get this truck up in the air, but we don't have a lift that's big enough. So first things first.
Oh, man.
I told Carlos to get on the phone and find us one.
Ronnie, you telling me these things right here are going to pick this big truck up?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm going to have to see right now.
You're about to see it.
Ronnie, this looks like a really small pallet jack.
It's like a pallet jack on steroids. You got a pallet jack to move it around, but you've got forks that lift up 18,000 pounds.
Do they all lift up at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's like a remote.
They're all on the same radio frequency.
Oh, okay. Man, so this is ready, huh?
Yep, I'm just making the carriage fit that tire. You can adjust the forks for a passenger vehicle all the way up to an 18-wheeler. We're ready to go up.
No, there's no way.
Easy, huh?
Man, that's crazy. Just sitting out here in the middle of the parking lot of this big ass truck. So who's using these things?
School districts, municipalities, anybody who does 18-wheeler work is using it.
How high is this thing gonna go, man?
Right about 6 feet.
Man, so I could walk underneath this thing.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I want to, but that's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust to be able to be under this thing with that. Well, Ronnie, you know what? I think you convinced me, man. I think this is exactly what Bill's gonna need for that wrecker build, so.
Perfect. I need the truck back, but you can use the list.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we know how to take them down now.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Ronnie.
You're welcome.
You know, I'm really excited to get the new wrecker in the shop, so we got to make room. We're not used to working with this long of vehicles and this tall. So there's only certain doors that this truck could come through and certain lengths of the shop that are working. So after we move a couple of toolboxes, we should have enough room to get this sucker in.
How far is that gonna stick out past?
Is it adjusted for those wheels? No, you gotta adjust it in evenly.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'm kind of anxious to get going on this, for sure.
Oh, I am too.
We're gonna make this one just over the top. There won't be another one. I know I say that a lot.
It's true,
There
though.
won't be another one like
True.
this. First of all, we gotta get rid of all the chrome on it.
Of course.
You already know.
Guaranteed.
I don't know if we're gonna have an accent color or not, or just all black. I don't know yet. I'm still working on that one. But what we are gonna do is make this way lower.
Hell yeah.
I know you've never seen a lowered record before, right?
Not a rollback, no.
Right.
No. There's a reason, though, because if you lower one of these, you're pivoting on the back of the truck. So if you lower the front, it's the higher up the bed has to go. You don't want that because your bumper is going to be hitting the bed, right?
It's gonna be difficult
So
to
you
load
want
for.
that lower in the back. How we're going to solve that is putting airbags on the front. It's going to look way cooler with it lower to the ground when you park and ride, but have that adjustability to raise it up to get that angle even shorter when you back up to a car. So what we're gonna do at the back already has air suspension on it. We're gonna raise it up so the truck actually ride lower in the back. We'll be able to get the angle of approach super low.
Makes
That's
sense.
win-win, and ride a lot better.
Yeah.
We're gonna build running boards to cover all the gas tanks and all that empty void in there. We're gonna fill all that in with a nice smooth transition all the way back to the toolbox.
Okay, so make everything just tie in together, looking slick.
Yeah, man. You know,
Okay.
just like the last one, but
Yeah,
this one
different.
a little cooler. And of course,
Oh, yeah. I already know it needs to be stretched.
it
I already
needs
know
it.
where
It's got to have it.
Oh, definitely. It helps the aesthetic of making it just look lower. And then that front bumper, I mean, that's the first thing you see. You want that mean look coming at you right away.
A cool tool for the shop and a cool truck just to cruise in. So when we go to a tow show, we're gonna kill them again.
That's what I'm talking about.
What we'll do first, pull off the bumper,
Set it on the table over here for now, huh?
pull off the front end,
Hey, win. Yeah.
pull off the toolboxes. Once it's up in there, it's gonna be way easier to work on.
This is badass. I like it. Beats the way we used to have to do it with the forklift. All right.
Countdown.
2 inches from the glass now.
No
Go
more?
up a little bit more.
Tell you what, let me look at it real quick. Let's do it right here.
What do you want to go in at?
Right behind the hanger. Of course, every suspension we build is totally different. But there's nothing really unusual about lowering this massive 2023 International truck. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Just its size and all the geometry makes this suspension a challenge. All right, man, we're going to brake hose here, whatever. Disconnect the brake hose.
Okay.
And that, drop this axle. We can take the springs out.
Okay.
We're going to go get them de-arched real quick.
All right. Come on, let's get this one out. Just walk it. There it goes.
You see the factory leaf springs have an arch to them. And this holds the load up of the front of the truck.
Come on. There. Got it. Yep.
Basically, the thick metal here arched is the spring when it's going down the road. So how we're gonna lower this is take that spring out. It's called de-arching. So we're gonna send it off to the spring place. They're gonna take that arch out of it and we'll reinstall them in conjunction with an airbag. So with the spring being de-arched, it'll let that suspension come all the way down.
Let's take them bags off first. These are airbags for the semi-trucks, tow trucks, whatnot, but that's not gonna work for what we're gonna use. So we're gonna bag the rear, but obviously we're gonna be using a different bag. Yeah. You'd think these would be heavier, right?
It is, they're pretty nice.
And budge. I don't think it's gonna come off. We got this hanger right here that we're gonna have to move up, which is gonna be lowering the truck. And there's no way to take these bolts off, so I'm gonna end up cutting these right here off. Next thing is go ahead and lower it on the truck, put our bracket right where we want it. All right. Then I'll transfer punch it. Once I transfer punch it, put a mag drill on it, drill all our holes. Once you do that, throw the bolts in it, and by moving it up, that's gonna make our suspension lower.
You know, Jamie did a great job raising that factory suspension up. Keep everything nice and in line. The only thing we had to do is change the shocks and change out the bags just so it rides lower. I basically got a bag that's 4 inches shorter than the factory one itself, so everything's just riding closer to the frame. We're not trying to make this suspension perform better. We're not trying to make it haul a higher load capacity. Nope. We're just making this suspension ride higher in the truck, which makes the truck ride lower to the ground. Cool? Cool.
All right, we gotta have some steps on it. Me and Bill set up this piece of tube here. This is pretty much where our step's gonna be. This simulates our step. This simulates our other step. So it'll come out, down, step. So you have something to step up on. I'm gonna start out by welding it to our hangers that we have here, get it all attached. We'll have it all on one plane instead of having staggered steps.
Let's pack a piece of flat bar over here.
Okay.
We got our tubing for our steps in place, so everything lines up perfect. You know, it's super easy to make templates like this out of chipboard, and you can see in real time what it's gonna look like. We've got our template for the step itself, but it's looking too bulky down here. So we're gonna trim this off so we can make the running board a lot thinner down here so it don't look so bulky. So it kind of matches the bottom of the box. So we want everything to have that nice flow with the step all the way into the box itself and not just hang down and look weird.
All right.
So what we're gonna do is just chop this off at a 45. That way our step looks a lot thinner at the bottom and matches up with the bottom of the box itself. So chop this out of the way and then we continue our template for the step itself. Unbolt this, if you got this cut, then we can split it there, then it's easy to get to. Let's see here. Fits perfect. So I got a perfect template to take to the sheet metal shop. This is such a long piece, we can't bend in-house. My brake's not big enough for that. So we're gonna take this to the local, my buddy, sheet metal shop down the street, and he's gonna bend this up for me. I'll be right back with it so we can start shaping it to put right on here. Most record drivers wouldn't want their truck riding too low because obviously they'd be worried about the functionality of it. But I want our 2023 International to ride low and still perform like a work truck. To be able to let it go lower, we de-arch those front leaf springs, flatten them out a little bit, giving us those inches we need to install those bags and make it ride low.
Hey, Dustin. Hey, come over here and lift this truck up some.
Yep.
I just need to go up a few inches. I think right there might be good enough. I need to go back. Let's bring it down like another inch, and then we'll take to mollywopping it. There's the bolt. Let me go down with mine first. Cool. That's all I needed right there. Thank you. Oh, man. I'm so tired of fighting everything to do. We just got our D-arch springs in. They're installed. U-bolts are tight. So first step of building our air suspension is building it off there. This is what my lower plate's going to sit on from my bag. Got to start from the base and build up. You don't start from the roof on a house. You start from, the base. So this is my foundation. I'm fixing to build it all the way to the top. Oh, we're hitting that right now. It won't, it's hitting this. We gotta move that now. What I'm doing right now is removing the air line for the air brakes bracket, just for clearance issues. And the same thing with the shock. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. The next thing is we'll be starting our upper. Our upper's gonna go right in here and bolts onto the frame. You can see where our airbag's gonna go right between these two plates, and that's gonna expand to raise and lower the suspension.
Like pretty much every vehicle we do around here is different in one way, shape, or form. If it's different size wheels, trying to get a little lower, higher, there's always obstacles, and you adapt along the way. So what we did is utilize the U-bolts to bolt the lower bag mount down to the axle, and the bag will bolt to that. And in this bracketry, just use some DOM tubing, and that's our lower shock bolt. We're about to weld all this up, paint it all, install it with the bags. Bolts right down over the leaf spring with the U-bolts. So sandwiches everything together to the axle, so everything's all in one.
We have everything complete now. We got our D-arch spring, we got our lower airbag mount, our upper, we got our shock in. You can see obviously how this works. You put air in the bag, and that's gonna push the front end down off of the frame, and that's gonna give us lift. Deflate the bag, that's gonna lower the truck. Right there.
We just got our sheet metal back from the sheet metal shop. They did a great job bending it. The whole thing we're doing is trying to make a cool record. So we got an extra long piece, so we're gonna cut a little piece off to put on the truck. So we're gonna take this, whittle it all down so it fits the fender perfectly, so we can make that perfect shape to the fender. You would leave it like that, huh?
Body work.
All right, man. So I'm gonna take that piece, put on the truck, use some chipboard, make a perfect pattern, transfer it over to the step, and make it all one piece for both sides. So 50 and a half. 50 and a half is center. We got our fuel tank cap that goes here, so that protrudes through the step itself. So makes it a little difficult getting this in and out. But we're gonna make a nice little trim piece out of just our cut pipe we normally use for our suspension parts. That's what Dustin's doing right now. We have plenty of this pipe sitting around, so we're gonna use this. Cut it down a little pie section. We can trim this out, weld that in, and you got a nice trim piece for it.
I think we got us a winner for a fuel neck recess mount. Let's go. Money shot.
Still going like that?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool, we got our steps in place. Man, it's looking really, really good. So the next step is to anchor it. So I've laid out a couple of
nice proportions of where we're gonna drill and tap it. We put some, heavy wall tubing underneath of this, so you got a nice solid step, and it's thick enough to be able to drill and tap. So we'll have our perfect anchor points that are super strong and in nice proportions.
Just the physical presence of this 2023 International gives this truck a big, aggressive look. And we're building running boards to complement that. It's going to be completely seamless.
The last little piece that we need to do to this is fix this transition from the factory fender down to the board itself. So what we're going to do is make a sheet metal filler that bolts onto the fender and continue all the way down. So we have something to trim all this out, and then we can have the transition from the fender all the way down to the front of the boards.
Yeah, the piece fits pretty good.
Now we got a nice transition from the fender down to the running board itself. So next step is tack it all in, cutting the board and giving it a little shape.
So we cut off the end of our running board. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out a cap piece now. We're gonna use that to fill in the void we cut out. That'll cap it and finish it off. All right, we got our cap all welded in. We're gonna let it cool off and then we can grind it.
Plasma that real quick.
Okay. All right, our running boards are coming along really well. We had to cut some access holes for our filler necks. Yeah, right there. So to finish these off, I'm gonna go ahead and set them in there flush, tack them, weld them, and buff them, and it'll look like one piece. Got our filler neck tubes welded in, got them buffed, everything sanded down, looking nice. We got all our bolts in our tubes, our main step tubes. And then I also went ahead and added some bolts into the cab as well. So that wraps it up for our running board. Gonna get it peeled off, sent to powder coat, we'll get it back, send it to body work, get it painted, and then it'll get thrown on the truck.
It's time to stretch this bumper. We can't just have the stock bumper on this truck, When you stretch these bumpers, it really gives that aggressive look, so I have to cut this thing. Velcro. You can barely see it, but there's a radius. There's a little hump right in here. Maybe you can see it like that. But it's kind of weird the way it shapes. It's not straight across. It kind of tapers. Just to make quick work out of it, so what I'm going to do is cut right underneath it. You don't hardly ever see a stretch bumper on a wrecker unless, we built it. But on semi-trucks, it's a very common modification. We're trying to duplicate that somewhat, but make it way better. Now it really looks like a mustache. I'm just gonna stack my 6-inch spacers, and I'll tack the top of the bumper, which is the bottom of the bumper, onto this, and then I'll have my filler pieces. Hey, fellers, I need y'all's help real quick. You grab that stuff? You wanna tack it up, Ryan? All right, thank you. We got it tacked up now. This is the gap I'm gonna fill from here to there. So I'm gonna do it in sections. I'm gonna do the left, the right, and then the center last. First thing is rolling this piece of metal to get this radius. Just a reference right there to where I really need to start rolling it tight. Making sure this radius is the same as that one is key. So I make sure I roll them the same, because I don't want it to be tighter on one side and not as tight of a radius on the other side. They have to be exactly the same. Yeah, that's close. If I stomp one of them, flatten it out, I'm stomping two of them. I'm not just doing one at a time, so it turns out evenly. I want everything to be symmetric on both sides of the bumper. Okay, got everything welded, cleaned up, sanded. Looks like it should have came like this from the factory. Off the powder coat.
With the suspension done on the 23 International, I sent it back to Ryan's shop to get that bed.
So we got Bill's truck in here today. We need to hurry up and get it knocked out.
A little ahead of yourself, aren't you, with the toolboxes?
Yeah, we had to go a little bit different on this one because he needed to do his running boards and start his build and doing the air suspension. But now it's time to get the bed set and get it all working and get it back over to Bill real quick so he can finish his stuff.
All right, let's get going.
Yes, sir. You want to watch that hose just so he doesn't back on it? You know, working with Bill, it's a little unorthodox for us to put the bed on last, but you never know what to expect with him. So now we got our bed set. Now we're gonna weld up the frame of the truck to the subframe of the bed. Now we're gonna set the pylon so they can get the light bar on top. And then we're gonna get our hydraulics up and going, and it's a downhill slope from there.
Now that we have the bed put on the 23 International, it's time to get this truck looking the part with the rest of our fleet with that black on black paint.
What I have here is the parts off of the new shop worker that we have. I'm about to start the sanding process. Of course, you know here at Extensive, we pretty much dechrome everything just to get that custom touch. You really want to sand it. You want to give it a lot of grooves and gouges so that your primer would adhere to it. If it's not prepped properly, later on, air, water, anything could basically get up under it, contaminate it, start it to peeling. Once it starts peeling, you got to start all the way over. All right, got my primer in the gun, ready to go. We're gonna get a couple of coats on this thing and let it dry. What I'm using here is a very high build primer. Normally we just use mainly high build primers on things that are textured, like all the plastic pieces. We try to sand a lot of the texture off before we prime it. But the high build primer gives it a real solid base to start with. And now that I got everything coated, we'll go ahead and let it dry. After that, we'll start getting ready to get it prepped for the paint. This is a normal General Motors black, so actually it only have two different tints in it, white and a maroon, added in with the black. Get this mixed up, looks good. Now that I've got my black base on, looks good, everything's evenly coated. I'm gonna go in, shoot a couple of coats of clear on it. Everything looks beautiful, shiny, perfect match, as usual.
Put it in just like this, and then we'll flip it up.
All right. When you're gonna have a custom truck, you want custom things on it. The last thing we're gonna do for the wrecker is install these fenders, but there's nothing to mount it to.
Squared up and down and sides.
Yeah, we gotta raise it up 3 inches. So the next step is building all the brackets and everything that holds this heavy of a fiberglass part up while it's going down the road, shaking and hitting bumps, hitting potholes, some cases hitting curves. So the mounts we make had to be super strong and add to the overall style of it too. Man, I think we'll be better off go ahead and starting to do this now, yeah.
Clamp it and then
Clamp, and that's gonna get everything straight, and you can kind of
manipulate it a little
move
bit.
the clamp a little bit to get it straight with the wheel. After about a couple of hours lining this fender all up so it's nice and straight, they're parallel with each other, both directions, nice and level. We have our major brackets in place, so now we're just building off the bracket itself, coming over to the fender. Then we can start attaching all this. Then it'll finally be a fender bracket after that. You just straight down that.
Out once we get this in there?
Yeah, I think so, man.
I think it looked better like that. Where it just ties into this and just floats.
Exactly. We're gonna do that.
Okay, so we're winding down our fender braces now. You know, we have everything connected to the frame. Last thing is to stitch this in. Once we stitch this in, we'll cut it here. And we'll cut it in the same place on the other side. Pull the second out. That's gonna separate both fenders and they'll both be floating when we cut this off.
We go back.
10 years now, man. It's been a minute.
Man, time flies for sure. In 10 years of your life, man,
That's right.
there's a lot goes on in those years. You know,
Beard, no beard.
young Jamie too.
Skinny, fat. You know, changed a little bit too, modified some things. Man, when I started here, I was right here in this shop, building all the parts, painting everything on the table, just started from the bottom, you know. Learning every little piece of how you like things to be done here.
Hey, we're both pretty good at sweeping too.
I mean, swept my fair share around here. You know, I've learned so much from you, you know, as far as the business side, as far as the build side, quality control. You know, before, sometimes I might have questioned, you know, how you're putting things together and stuff, but now, never. Used to. I don't ever question that now. I know. I tell people this constantly, you know, don't question it. You know, it's gonna come together. Everything's always gonna look good.
Man, I got y'all fooled, huh?
No, man. Last 10 years I've been here. It's a lot of cool projects, a lot of fun, you know. I'm really looking forward to the next 10 years.
For us, having a shop record that looks good and performs good, it's totally instrumental for what we do here every day. And we need to get it to work right away. So we built out the fenders, installed custom running boards, and of course, made it low. You know, I definitely believe what you put into something, you're gonna get out. And this truck is a testament to that. We've done a lot of work to the new shop record. You know, it's something I'm real proud of. We've been working all hard on it, and I can't think of anybody that would rather see it other than my buddy Ryan at RPM. What's happening, man?
What's up, Bill? How you doing today?
That's a cool truck, man. What year is this?
55 Chevy with an old Holmes 440.
Old school record band on it, man. It looks real, real cool.
So what brings you by today?
Man, I got something out here for you to check out.
Uh-oh. What do you got out here
Bring
now?
that cleaning stuff.
I'm gonna need that. Damn, man. That's
What do you
looking good, man. Yeah.
I'd seen it before when I put the bed on it, but I haven't seen it like this. So that is clean, classy, slick, man. You know, I see records every day. This one definitely stands out. I didn't think it was gonna be that cool.
I tell you what, I love the four-door truck. 16,000-pound bed is definitely the way to go on that. I can haul whatever I want to haul now without that bed flexing at all. Our bills have been getting bigger and bigger. This is something I needed, man.
Yeah, I know when I give you something, you're always gonna do something else, but this rear end, how low it is, and these full fenders dropping down really tucks that tire up in there really nice. Man, you nailed it with that.
I wanted something that nobody else had. I mean, nobody would ever lower a wrecker, right? Well, I had to have one. So what I did is just took the factory hanger on the truck and raised it up, putting a smaller bag in place. So it actually rides 3 inches lower than it used to and drops 3 inches lower than it used to. You see, all those tolerances are really close and tight in there. You don't have much room, but we got that big old fender underneath there too, you know, to make it even look lower.
You guys nailed that one. The rims, the Texas rims, oh, come on.
Of course, Texan, we're in Texas, you gotta have Texas wheels. What you thinking?
Damn, man, that is gorgeous.
One of the first things we started out doing is color matching everything, getting rid of the chrome surround around the grill, the chrome mirrors, had to change all that up. Shiny black, man, it just makes it look classy.
De-chroming it, putting it all black, just made it really look sinister. It's just a tough truck. If I told you that was an extensive record, you'd say, of course it is.
Man, it's such a big truck and skinny bumper, so I decided to cut the bumper, lower it down so it matches the same height as the running boards also, so everything matches and flows together.
You know, those running boards really are clean and slick, man. It really sets that stuff off.
Just ties all that in together and hides all the tanks and everything. Gives you a nice look from the side for sure. And you can tell it's way lower now in the front, too, than it used to be. I told you I was going to bag the front of it. Check it out.
You really did that? Ooh-wee. You really got that done, man.
Yeah, man. You know, before it had, 11 inches in between the axle and the bottom of the frame. So what I did is took the leaf springs off, de-arched them, so the axle comes way closer to the bottom of the frame and the bottom of the oil pan. So it rides way, way lower, but it has that adjustability of the airbag. So you can raise the front of the truck up, drop the back down, and have that bed angle so you can get lower vehicles on it. And it rides way better also.
Really impressive, man.
And
really looks good.
I love riding low in a big black truck, man, for sure, right?
You know, I was kind of iffy about how that was going to turn out in the beginning, but you guys killed it, man. Good job.
Not only can I thank the guys at my shop that I rely on all day, every day, but also the guys at RPM, at Ryan's shop, you know, for the work that they do. You know, there's extra work going back and forth between shop and shop, but this is gonna definitely turn a lot of heads all around the streets of Houston. And next time we go with Ryan to the tow show, it's gonna kill it there. Hey man, you get back to cleaning, man. I'm gonna get back to the shop, but first I'm probably gonna cruise around a little bit in it.
You guys killed it.
All right, man.
I'll see you after a while.
All right.